Hi guys, my name is Robert Lennart. I'm the TTL from Fernando R. Ledesma High School. I'm going to do a quick explanation of most of the tools in Kami. I am going to skip the AI questions because I haven't explored it myself too much, so I'll do another video on that one later. And that's a new section that I haven't seen before. Really quick, I'm using a student's work. We are currently in Chapter 6 where we're doing a little bit of very basic statistics. So I'm going to let you take a look at her work. I'm going to skim through it and you'll see that when I mark or grade things, I use a purple dot if it's correct, and then I use a red box if it's incorrect. And so this is what her assignment looks like. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start from the select tool and I'm going to work my way down. I'm going to skip the dictionary and read aloud. I don't really use those too much. Read aloud does exactly what you think it does. It's going to read your document aloud using a computerized voice. So I don't use that a whole lot. So here we go. Select does exactly what you think it would do. You can select any annotation that you have created. So my purple dots I've created, but these annotations Brianna created. I can't select them. And if I hover, it'll tell me, it'll give me her initial indicating that it's her mark, so I can't touch it. And when Brianna looks at her work and she sees my purple dot, if she hovers over it, she's going to see my initials on it. So our annotations are kept separate. The hand tool, you can actually select an annotation with it, although this is not its primary function. It's designed to move the pages around. So if I zoom in, I can now move left to right, up and down, kind of like I'm pushing and sliding a piece of paper in my hand. So I'm going to zoom back out a little bit, and I'm going to go to the next tool, which is the select annotations. So it does exactly what you think it would do. It selects annotations. So I can select one by clicking and releasing, moving it around. I can select multiple annotations by just simply dragging around them. And once I do select them, you'll see this properties bar that comes up. I can change the color of whatever I've selected, and I can change the thickness. So I'm going to make it smaller, make the dot smaller. I can change their transparency. And you'll see, let's make them thicker. And then I'm going to hover them over a line so you can see that it's transparent, which comes in handy for a lot of different things. I'm going to undo and then select them all and delete it because I'm actually marking on this young lady's paper and I don't want her to wonder why those marks are there. Okay, the dictionary I'm going to skip. Read aloud I'm going to skip. Markup. Markup has three choices. A text highlighter, where you can highlight text with whatever color. So exactly what you think it would do. Whoops. Let's see. Let's start at data. Work our way to interval. Let it go. The next one is the freehand highlighter. So I can just draw freehand with it. And again, you'll notice that there's a level of transparency. It's just like a highlighter pen that you would use to highlight anything else. The one I use the most is the box highlighter. If I want to highlight a box, and I'm going to highlight that one, I'm going to switch colors, and I'm going to highlight this one. So very useful for highlighting regions of space. And I also use the box highlighter for coloring. Actually, I don't really use the box highlighter. I'll show you a little bit later on that the drawing tool works better for coloring. And comments come in the form of text, voice, video, screen capture. I'm not going to go through each one of these, but I'm going to hit the text one, and so you can see what's going on here. I actually started a video recording. I'm going to get rid of it. So if you click onto an area and you want to make a comment, let's see. Let's go down here where she missed something. So I'm going to click right here and let's see, click. There we go. We get a little mark, and then over on the right, I can say, let's say you forgot to answer this. And yes, I'm not a speed typist. So when she logs back on, she's going to see this dot. Should make it a different color so she doesn't think I've marked it right. And she'll see this comment on the right. I'm going to delete it because I don't want to leave that there. All right, text box. Text box is where students can write a narrative. So if I come in here and then the one thing I do like about this, just like a lot of other, just like your text box on your phone, when you're messaging, there's a microphone tool here. Now I'm not sure because I'm talking into this. If I click on this, it may conflict with my recording, so I'm not going to do it. But if I were to hit the microphone tool, then I could just say whatever I want to in here. So I'm going to just say whatever. Whatever. Did I spell it right? Yes. Okay. So I've got my text. You can change the color of the text, and you'll notice I'm not highlighting it. I'm just changing the color. It'll change it right away. You can spell check it, but I'm just going to cancel it right now. You can change the color. If you use the eyedropper tool, you can move into your document. I don't have any odd colors here, but if you hover, you can select purple. It replaces my primary color. I'm going to go back to black. I'm going to hover over black. That becomes it basically sets it to black because I already have it there. I'm going to go to my color palette and let's see. You can change colors to whatever you want. However, I'm just going to reset them all to default. The color picker will allow you again to click on any color that you have on your document and make that your selected color. So I'm going to reset to default and save. All right, so now I have the default colors. The equation editor, we use this particular tool a lot. So if you want to see how this young lady created this, I'm going to go down into a open space and click. I'm going to type in MEAN, maybe MEAN, and I'm going to hit the equals key, and then I'm going to hit the / key under the question mark. That immediately puts me into fraction mode, and I'm going to add up 1 plus 2 plus 3 and divide it by 3. That's not a 3. By 3, I'm going to right arrow, hit equal sign, hit the / again, and then 3, 4, 5, 6 divided by 3, right arrow equals 2. Now, it's an easy thing to do. You'll find some kids will adapt to this rapidly, other kids not so much. You can move this around. You can change the font color. You can fill it with, let's fill it with something like that. So you can fill it. You can rotate it. You can change the font size. You can read aloud. Not sure how well this is going to go, but let's try it.
MEAN equals start fraction. 1 plus 2 plus 3 over 3. End fraction equals 6/3 equals 2.
Not bad. Okay, I'm going to stop that. You can also delete it, which I'm going to do. All right. So on the equation editor, effectively, and let's do one more thing. Let's create another equation. And over here, when you're on the equation editor, you'll notice there's an insert symbol. So if I wanted to write the formula for the area of a circle, I could come out here and say A for area is equal to and pi r, and then now I can do the power of 2 by hitting Shift 6, or I can come down here, and they do have, say I don't do it this way very often. Where is it at? I know it's here. You guys can probably see it before I do. Shift 6. Okay. This is going to be your shift. It used to look like an exponent. So I'm going to go shift 2. And then if you want to bring the cursor back down, right arrow. So I'm going to do that. So that would be how you do that. However, I'm going to undo this and type in A equals pi. There's no way around using the pi symbol, but R, if I want to do the power of 2, I go shift 6, which is the caret tool, and 2. Okay? Another formula that we tend to use a lot, so I'm going to use my select annotations tool and delete that. If you want to write out the equation for the distance between 2 points, this is more for the math teachers out there, D equals the square root of, so I'm going to find the square root notation, square root of, and what I do is I go back and I go shift 90, shift 6, 2, right arrow, plus shift 90, shift 6, 2, and then I go back into my first one and I go X, and let's see, let's do, is it X or Y? I think it's Y. Shift minus 2, right arrow, minus Y, shift minus to lower the cursor, 1, and then, actually, you know what? That should have been X. So let's change it back to X really quick. I'm going to show you kind of a neat trick here. Over here, in the second parentheses, it should be Y sub 2 minus Y sub 1. So I'm just going to highlight this. I'm going to Command C, and again, I'm on a Mac. I'm going to go into this second parentheses, Command V, and just edit the X's to be Y's, and I'm all set. So that would be the way that you would create the distance formula. So again, the equation editor is fairly robust. It's pretty good. I'm going to delete that so it doesn't stay on your screen. I don't think there's anything else there. The drawing tools. Okay, I've got a stroke thickness of 2. I'm going to grab a blue color here, and I'm going to just freehand draw. And, you know, the kids can actually draw with their mouse. However, you're going to find that most kids would have a difficult time with this. Let's see if we can do a little equation. So let's go 5x plus 2 equals 3x minus 4. Okay, so you can draw it out. However, if I were going to do that, that's not the way I would do it. So I'm going to just select all of this and delete it, go back to my equation editor and go 5x minus 2 equals 3x minus 4. Okay? Don't know if I wrote the same one down, but much cleaner this way. All right, let's get rid of that. And you'll notice that we do have students doing that exact same thing. And sometimes they'll switch, and you can see out of the equation editor, just to cancel things. It's easier to do it with the drawing tools. And let me go back down. So here's what I want to show you with the drawing tools, though. You can freehand draw. You can hold the shift key, and it'll create a straight line. However, you can't lock this into horizontal or vertical. If you can, I haven't figured out the secondary key to do that with. However, if you do want to do a perfectly vertical or horizontal line, you can switch down to the shape tool, go to the line tool, and I'll pick, let's pick red, and you get a straight line. And you'll see it's slightly different because this line has a slightly rounded edge on it. This one is a squared corner. But if I hold the shift key down, perfectly horizontal, perfectly vertical, even if I move left and right just a little bit. That comes in really handy. All right, so back to the drawing tool, but let me get rid of this. So I'm going to highlight those with the annotation tool, and I'm going to go back to the drawing tool. You have a ruler here, which you can rotate. You can actually draw on it, which You got to be fairly close so you can make a straight line at whatever angle you are currently on. And I'm going to just click out of that, use my eraser, get rid of this. Protractor. Full-size protractor, normal size protractor. You can also switch the direction that you're counting or measuring from. So from the left side counting up, or from the right side counting up. You can change this by rotating it left or right. Comes in handy for measuring angles, and we use this quite a bit. And the last one, which this assignment of course doesn't lend itself to use a compass, but you do have a compass here. So the compass can be expanded and contracted. It can be moved with any of these areas. Let's say I don't think that doesn't do anything, but you can rotate it. The pin stays locked in, and then you can lay down some ink. Move in, change the color, lay down some more ink, and so on. Okay. Sometimes this will be off screen and the kids will find they can't grab this, but you can still rotate it here. And if you needed to start a new color, just go to the undo button right up here. And if you undo, the color disappears, but the protractor stays right where it is. So you can undo and you can still move it around even when you can't grab this tool. Okay, so I'm going to end that and get rid of this. Use my eraser tool to get rid of these. So let's see. I think we've covered most of what we want in the drawing tool. The shape tool, exactly what you would think. Rectangle, hold the shift key, square. Ellipse, ellipse, hold the shift key, perfect circle. Triangle, hold the shift key, you get a right triangle. Either way, up, down, left or right. And when you let it go, the right angle marker disappears. Now, the one, and then we're going to talk about the polygon tool in a second. If you go to the select tool, if you hover, you can move the vertices on the triangle. Let's see, click out, get back in, and you can move them all. But if you go to the rectangles, you can't. You can resize, you can make it thicker or thinner, but you can't move these. So I'm going to show you a neat little trick here. So if I wanted to create, so I'm going to delete this, I'm going to go back to my shape tool, go to the polygon tool, and I'm going to set the sides at 4. So I get a square. When I let it go though, I can go to my select tool and I can move these vertices any way I want. So if I needed to create a parallelogram, I could. Now, this is much better done on a grid because if you're eyeballing it here, even though you do get the angle notation that pops up when you're moving the vertices, it's a lot easier just to do this on a grid. But you can now move the vertices independently. Very cool. Okay, I'm going to get rid of this. Let's see. And the line tool. Probably the only thing you really want to know about the line tool, besides being able to lock it into position, is that if you hover, you can change the line style from solid to dash, right arrow, left arrow. Now, in the old version, you used to be able to click left, right arrow in the same click, but now if you hit right arrow, it disappears. You have to go back and hit left arrow, and you get a line, which is, for the geometry teachers out there, very useful. All right, let's see. Shapes are pretty much done. The eraser tool, exactly what you think. Drawings and shapes. So if I make a drawing or I make a shape, so let's go here and make a shape, but now I'm going to put some text in. So now I'm just going to type some text, some gibberish here. So now I'm going to go to my eraser tool, drawings and shapes. So I'm going to go to my text, doesn't erase it, but it does erase this. Now I'm going to bring those back and I'm going to go to the all annotations, which is the one I just keep it on all the time because now I can erase text and annotations. Okay. The AI questions, I haven't explored this. It's fairly new, but as the name implies, you can create questions with AI. We'll just look at the interface. So let's see. Actually, we won't look at the interface because I'm not prepared to talk about this. So I'm just going to retract this in and add media. You can add media from your computer. So I'm not going to do that, but I am going to go to Google Drive. So my home computer is rather slow. Didn't think it was this slow. Actually, I may not be logged into my Google Drive. Let's see. Let's see if I can get out of this. Okay, of course, it's going to hang here and completely screw up my video. Let's see if I can get out. Nope. Okay. You mean my whole video is now trashed? Google Chrome, I don't want to force quit that completely. All right. This is horrible. Okay. Let's go right back to Brianna. See if we can save the video. Come on, we can do it. All right. Yes. Okay. So let's go to just image search here. And let's type in, what will we look for? Angles, A-N-G-L-E-S. Let's see what we can get. Angles. And you'll find it's a very limited image search. It just gives you a handful of things here, and none of them would be useful to me, but I'll grab this one and insert the image. There we go. So you can insert things. Better to store things in your Google Drive and make sure your Google Drive you're logged into. I don't think I am. Okay. You can go to YouTube. You can go to OneDrive. And let's see what the graphic organizer looks like. So you can do a graphic organizer. So I'm going to grab this one. Click right in there. Okay. Place it. You can resize it. Okay. Then I'm going to go to my text box. I'm going to get a really tiny font and I'm going to type something in there. Type something. There we go. So obviously barely fits, but it fits. All right. Now, and you can also add a signature here so you can date stamp it, time stamp it, upload an image. You can draw a signature. So I'm going to type in my classic Arlen art, which doesn't look too good there, but we can upload it. And then if I need to sign something, I can insert my initial right there. So I think that's a pretty good overview of what it does. I'm going to end the video, which is way too long, but tell me what you think.